thoughts on the Rogers Network going down. So, for those of you who don't know, the Rogers Network in Canada went down today, right? This is a cell phone provider and also an internet provider, the biggest cell phone and internet provider in Canada. So, when it went down, millions and millions of people were without cell phone service, internet, the ability to make purchases with their debit cards, etc., right? Because the majority of banks in Canada use the Rogers Network in order to provide banking services. So also, most 911 services were also out of order because the majority of government services also use the Rogers Network, right? So now, me personally, I've been saying for a few years now, me and the brother Jomar did a couple lives on it. I made posts, videos, etc., warning that I believe not only the internet is going to go down, but also the power grid, right? Which they've been warning about here in the States, that the power grid is going to go down. It's going to fail either due to cyber attacks or just failure of the whole infrastructure, because when you really look at it, it should have been replaced decades and decades ago, right? So if you read some of the articles, though, which is very interesting, if you read some of the articles about the Rogers Network shutting down, they all say that Rogers would not disclose a reason as to why it failed. So if you remember, about 3 to 6 months back, before the whole pandemic started, they literally did a practice run, right, on or a mock simulation of the pandemic is what they called it, right? It was called 201. And then the real thing happened shortly after, because that's one thing with the elites and the powers that be. They always show their hand before they do what they're actually going to do. Right, so Amos 8:11 says that the days come that there will be a famine in the land, a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh, which is the bread of life. There's going to be a famine of that, right? 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 says famine, plague, tribulation, and anguish are coming in Jacob's trouble, or what Christians call the tribulation, right? So the Rogers Network shutting down for a day, in my understanding and opinion, is just a sign of the times to come. Because think about it like this: the majority of people hear and spread the word of the Most High, the bread of life, through the internet, right? So for example, just this week, right, people have hit me up from India, from Australia, the Netherlands, Switzerland, I believe, Germany, etc., saying that they appreciate the biblical information and the words of the Most High that I'm being used to spread, right? So when they take out the internet completely, think of all the thousands and thousands of people that use the internet to learn about the Most High, or use the internet to spread the word of the Most High, right? That would definitely be a famine of the word. And at that point, people are going to lose their minds, a lot of people, because they weren't sincerely striving to get this wisdom while they still can, right? They weren't trying to write it upon the table of their hearts and apply it to their lives and make the changes and moves necessary in order to be safe in those times, right? And then, of course, you have people that are going to go crazy because they can't live without social media and attention and being in everybody else's business, being a busybody, talebearer, etc., right? But when that happens, not even talking about if the whole grid goes down, okay? If just the internet and cell services went down, that would also ruin all logistics for all the businesses and corporations who provide you with food, right? Who stock stores, who farm, etc. They're not going to be able to deliver things anymore as they have been, right? It would literally be like going back 100 years. So this should just be taken as a sign of how serious the times to come are going to be. And we have to use it as an examining moment and ask ourselves, do I have enough biblical knowledge and wisdom to keep me stable and keep my household stable in the times to come? When situations arise in these times to come, do I have enough wisdom to know how to biblically deal with all these trials and situations that are going to come our way, right? Or do I physically have enough knowledge to deal with these things? Because like it says in Isaiah 33:6, that wisdom and knowledge is going to be the only thing that keeps us stable in the times to come, right? So you also have to ask yourself, how would I survive if the internet, cell phone services, and the power grid went down completely, right? Can you fish? Can you hunt? Can you grow food? Do you have any stored, etc.? Right? The Most High is really giving us more than enough time to prepare for the times to come. So we got to be prudent, foresee the evil, and not just keep living life and passing on and living in your comfort zone as if nothing is going to happen. Because if you do, you won't be prepared and you will be punished accordingly. Right? So we got to get on the ball, and we got to start correcting the things that we haven't corrected, that we know we need to correct. We need to make the preparations necessary that we know we need to prepare in order to be ready for these times to come, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Right? So all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom.